Hi everyone, so we're now on to week 5 of the Mat Pilates sessions. So we're going to start off this time by doing our lateral breathing. So first I want you to do your alignment check, and then your hands are going to come to just below your rib cage. And we're going to inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. So still imagining that we've got a balloon or a corset that we're wearing, hands being pushed out and then they're being drawn back into the core. So make sure that your shoulders are relaxed, they're down, they're not hunched up towards your ears. Your chin is parallel to the mat. Find your focal point to bring the head up and the chin parallel to the mat. And then we're just going to do some deep breathing sets. And this time we're going to incorporate the shoulders into the breathing. So every time you inhale, the shoulders come up. On the exhale, they draw back and down. So just relieving any tension in the neck, in the shoulders. So let's make the movement slightly more dynamic. Release the arms. Inhale, the shoulders come up, and exhale, they drop back down. So I just want you to try and forget about any tasks, any chores that you have to do. Just try and get rid of any worries that you've got and focus on the breath and focus on the movement that we're doing. So then let's do a few more with the shoulders rolling forward. Making sure the arms feel nice and heavy, nice and relaxed. And then we're going to open up the legs nice and wide. So you've still got that strong balance. And we're going to lean over to one side to do our lateral side bends. So we're inhaling and we're exhaling to reach over, and then the hand makes a nice semicircle to come back to meet the leg. So you're really opening up the obliques, opening up the chest. Your stance should be nice and strong so you're not wobbling in the legs. Make sure your feet are imprinted in the mat. Then we're going to inhale. On the exhale, you're going to lean all the way down to the right side. Try and reach towards the toes. Stretch out the spine, release the head, and then we swing over to the left side. Maybe going a little bit slower when you swing over. So coming back to the right, making sure the legs stay nice and straight if you can. And then let's come back over to the left. And let's go into the middle and just let the head hang. Cradle the arms, shake your head no, nod for a yes. Release any tension in the mid-back and then bring yourself back to standing. Inhale, and on the exhale, you're going to tuck your elbows into the sides of your body and open up the arms. So this is going to squeeze those mid and upper back muscles together, strengthening the rhomboids, which are going to pull your chest nice and open. So if you're hunched over, if you've got a widow's hump in the back of your neck, this is hopefully going to start relieving that and also get more blood flow to the head. So let's open up and then close again. And try and do it when you open it up, you really squeeze the back muscles. Then we're going to come to a strong stance. The toes are pointing outwards. We're going to inhale, and on the exhale, you're shooting down into a squat and then coming back to the middle. Inhale, exhale to dip down into that squat and then come back. When you shoot the body up, make sure that you squeeze the glutes and just push your hip slightly forward. So it's going to really activate and warm up the quads and all the deep leg muscles. And coming into that nice V shape when you go down with the arms. And I find it easy when I'm doing this to focus on the breathing, but also to find a point on the wall opposite and focus on that spot. So your head shouldn't be moving up and down. So then we're going to come back, putting our feet hip distance apart. The arms are coming out in front of you, and we're going to do a thoracic twist, this time with our arms open. So imagine that your hands are headlights on a car that have to move together. So the space in between the arms does not shorten or lengthen as you twist. The hips are going to stay facing forward as though they've been locked. So you cannot move, or you shouldn't be moving the hips too much. All of the movement is coming from the upper body. And the head is moving in line So your head's looking in between your arms at all times. Then what we're going to do is when you move over to one side, lengthen one arm, lengthen the other, come back to centre, and then let's go on the other side. So this should be really small movements in the shoulder muscles, and you should be able to feel them stretching slightly. Now we're going to do some big arm circles. So we're inhaling to come up, the arms are nice and straight, and exhaling to come down. And they're going down to the sides of you, they're not going backwards. So inhale, and then exhale to come up. So these are really nice, big movements, warming up all the arm muscles. Keep going with the breathing pattern. And then we're going to spin it the opposite direction after one more. So let's go forward. So we're going all the way out to the sides, out in front of you, and then back down again. So although this is quite slow, you should hopefully be starting to feel your arms warming up. So we're going to do one more going forward, and then you're going to come to the side. So let's do an alignment check. Make sure that you're squeezing the glutes, and then we're going to roll onto the balls of our feet, and then rock back slightly onto the heels. So it's so important that we focus on the feet and making sure that they're nice and mobile. We're going to do one more coming up onto the tiptoes and then come back down again. This time you inhale, and on the exhalation we're going into a squat, and then you're coming back up to standing. So you're dipping down, making sure that your knees aren't coming over your feet. So you're trying to push the knees back as much as you can to give yourself a deeper squat. So inhale, and on the exhale come down. Your arms are nice and straight. Let's go back down, and this time you're lifting up one foot and then you're lifting up the other. So this is really small movements, but you're going to feel it hopefully in your lower back as you come up. So we're just going up and down, changing from one foot to another. And then you're going to do one more and come up to standing. So let's do our alignment check. And then we're slowly going to lift up the right leg. So the knee comes to a 90-degree angle. And as we do so, both arms come up towards the ceiling. And then we change and do the left leg. So inhale, exhale to bring up the leg and come back down. Try and get it so that the arms and the leg lift at the same time. So it's one fluid movement. And if at this point your balance is a little bit wobbly, don't worry about it. Try and really focus transitioning the weight from one leg to another. Then we're coming back into a squat. So you're shooting the right leg back. In that squat position, your arms are still out in front of you, and we're just going to hold it there. So hold, take some deep breaths, and try and think about where your form is. Squeeze the glutes and come back up, and let's go on the opposite side. So you bring the left knee down. Your right knee is no further than your toe. So you don't want to bend that leg too much. And then come back, and let's go again on the opposite side. Make sure that when you come down, your knee does not touch the mat. So you're just a few inches above. Your arms are still nice and strong. Chin is parallel to mat, and then let's swap and go on to the other side. So don't worry if you get a bit trembly or if you start to shake. Just try and hold the position when you come back down. The next time we go down, we're going to pulse. So you're doing 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one, and come back up. Let's go on the opposite side. Inhale, exhale to come down. Pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one, bring it back to the centre. And we're going to start doing our roll down series. So the past few videos, we've done this after every warm up. And this time we're going to make the movement slightly more advanced. So if you find this difficult at any point, just have a little break. So we're inhaling to prepare. On the exhalation, you're going to bring your chin to chest. Your spine is going to curve, you hinge from the hips. But as you come down to the floor, I want you to walk the hands out. The fingers are nice and wide, and you're going to come into a downward dog. You're coming into a downward dog, and then you're shooting the heels forward, rolling the spine forward as you come into a high plank. You're holding the plank for a few seconds, and then we're going back to downward dog. And then slowly you're going to walk your hands back towards your feet. As the hips come up, release the head, inhale, and on the exhalation, peel the body back up to standing. Arms are coming out nice and wide. And then we're going again. So inhale, exhale to drop, release the arms. As they get to the floor, they're being walked all the way out. Try, if you can, to keep your heels on the mat. This is going to really stretch your hamstrings. So we're going into downward dog, taking a breath here, and then we're shooting the body forward really nice and strong. Curve the tailbone in, squeeze the core, hold in a strong plank position, and then we're going back to downward dog for an inhalation, and then you walking your hands back to your feet. Inhale, and then exhale to peel the body up. And we're doing 2 more of these. So the arms are coming up, dropping all the way back down, chin to chest, loosen the shoulders, feel the weight of the head, the weight of the arms, hinge from the hips, reach towards the toes, walk the hands out really slowly, and bring yourself into a downward facing dog. Hips are going to shoot towards the ceiling. Inhale. And on the exhalation, roll the feet forward, roll the body forward this time. Hold in a strong plank position. And then we're going to go back into downward dog. And we're slowly walking the hands back to the feet to come all the way up. So if this is too difficult and you're finding it hard to go into a plank or a downward dog, you can come onto all fours instead. So come down with the arms and let's go for the last time. So this time I want you to really concentrate on being slow and not putting too much pressure on the body to do this movement fast. It's more about form and getting the form correct. So I want you to go into the plank, and this time really push up through the hands. So you're pushing up the shoulders and shooting the body up. And then we're going back into a downward facing dog. This time, instead of going back to the feet with the hands, we're going to paddle out the legs one by one, stretching the hamstrings. And then we're going to twist the body so that you look from one side to another. And let's do one more side, and then we're coming back to neutral. Release the knees onto the mat, untuck the feet, and you're going to spin yourself all the way around, and we're going to do our half roll downs. This time, we're doing it slightly different to the last few videos because we're going to make it a bit harder by extending our legs slightly further. So usually the heels are tucked in more towards the bum. This time, the heels and the feet are going to be towards the edge of the mat. So we inhale, the arms come up, and we exhale, finding that nice curve, the C shape in the spine, and then coming back up. Usually we drop the arms towards the knees. This time the arms are going to stay quite high up. So this is going to put more pressure on the abdominals and give our arms a better workout as we come down. So see how far you can get without coming off the mat with your feet. So feeling that nice crunch in your core, squeezing the pelvic floor, squeezing the glutes, and coming back up. So keep going in this movement, remembering to keep the arms up nice and strong so they do not drop towards the knees. And just see how you feel in the legs with them being out in front of you more than they have been in the past. So release the arms, inhale. On the exhalation, we're just going to twist the head, loosen up the neck, go from one side to another before we do our second set. So inhale, the arms come up, nice and high again. This time, we're dropping the arms down as you come down, and we're going to hold. And hold it there. Focus on the breath, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth, and then come back up. Arms are coming up nice and high, and as you drop down, the arms come down. So we're holding this position. Squeeze the core, squeeze the glutes. Hold for a few more seconds and then come up. Don't drop the arms when you come up, so try and keep them nice and tall. So we're dropping back down again, holding, squeezing, and then slowly coming back up again. And let's drop back down. And we're going to hold. So if you start to feel the shakes and the vibration in your core, that is a good sign that we're working all those deep abdominal muscles. So come back up. The arms are still nice and strong. We're going to inhale. On the exhalation, we're going all the way back down again. This time, we're opening up the right arm, and then we're coming back to center. Drop back down. Open up the left arm, look towards the hand, and then come back to center and come up. So really focus on drawing the ribs down towards the hips. So you feel that nice crunch in the abs. Look towards the hand, come back to the center and come back up. Let's go again on the opposite side. Inhale, exhale to open. So hopefully by now you're feeling like your core's really getting fired up. Maybe it's starting to ache a little bit as you go down. This is good. Keep pushing through. It's so easy to just give up when you start feeling that burn or that intense feeling in your muscles, but we need to keep going and push through that feeling. So come back up to center, release the arms, and we're going to do our last set. So inhale, the arms come up again. We're going to go all the way back down, and we're doing our oblique twists. So imagine that you've got that ball that you're passing from one side to another. We're doing sets of 10. So we're going one side to another. The eyes follow the hands as you bend and then come back up. Inhale, exhale to drop back down. Let's go again. Twisting from the core. And again, making sure that the width between the arms and the hands doesn't change as you drop from one side to another. Your pinky finger can touch the floor and then bounce back up. Making it quite a quick movement, one side to another. Focus on holding it strong. Your feet are still imprinted into the mat. You're focusing on drawing the navel to the spine, squeezing your pelvic floor, and then coming back up to neutral. And let's go one more time. You can do it. Push through. Focus on the breathing patterns. Focus on the visualization of having that ball. And let's do a few more and then back up to neutral. Release the arms, straighten the legs, dorsiflex the feet, and let's lean all the way over towards the feet for a long spinal stretch. If you can, hook your fingers onto your toes and pull yourself slightly further forward. Your head's looking towards the navel. Release the arms and come so that you're laying flat on the mat. So your shoulders are relaxed onto the mat, and we're going to bring the legs so that the feet are towards the bum and the knees are bent. The hands are flat on the mat, and we're lifting up the legs into a tabletop position, making sure that you're pushing the lower back into the mat, and then we're doing our toe tap series. So the legs are always coming back into the tabletop, into that 90-degree angle. Make sure at this point that there isn't an arch in your lower back. So you're still rolling the tailbone towards you. So curving the hips, pushing the mid and lower back into the mat so that you've got that activation. Squeeze the knees, give yourself a nice hug. Maybe roll out the feet if you want to. And this time we're going to go back into the 90-degree angle, but your toes are going to tap further towards the edge of the mat. So this is going to warm up the quads, and it's a bit more difficult, this movement. So we're stretching out the leg just slightly further so the toe hits the top. And then you're going back to the 90-degree angle. So really try and focus on what the hip movement is, maybe if one side feels a bit tighter than the other. And we've got 4 more. Last 2. And bring the knees in. Hug them towards you, give yourself a lower back massage. Come back so that your feet are on the mat. And we're going to stretch out the right leg, bringing the left knee in towards the nose. So we're crunching and curling forward, and then we're alternating between legs. So we're stretching out, and imagine the leg is being pulled as it goes out. So really try and lengthen the leg. And each time, grab the knee as it comes in with both arms and use the hands to help bring it closer towards you. Try and touch your nose to your knee if you can. If you can't, do not worry about it. Just focus on straightening that other leg. Then we're releasing both legs down, and we're going to do our oblique twists. So interlock the arms behind the head, stretch out one leg, and we're doing the same movement, but this time we're trying to reach the elbow to the opposite knee, and you're twisting to look down and towards the armpit. So you're really crunching and pulling the upper body forward with the abs each time that we twist. Trying to straighten that leg again and pointing it into that diagonal shape. And keep going. So by this point, I'm hoping that your core is feeling nice and fired up, and it's starting to feel like it's being really worked. So then relax, bring the head down. And we're going to go into a move called the 100. So you're coming up with the heads, the arms are nice and straight, and they're pulsing up and down. And you want to make sure that you're still looking forward. You're really pulling the body forward with the upper abdominal muscles. And then drop down to relax. This time we're advancing the movement, so your legs come to a 90-degree angle. We're coming back up and we're pulsing again. And well done. So we're halfway through. Imagine that the wrists are being pulled towards the legs. Really straight. Let's do a few more and then relax. This time we're going to go for the full 100. So we're going to straighten both legs into a diagonal shape. You're coming up again. Squeeze the core, squeeze the quads together. The feet should be together. And we're pulsing up and down. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. This is a really difficult movement. And then come back down. And we're going to do that series again, moving through the 3 different variations. So you're coming up, feet are still on the mat, and we're pulsing up and down. Imagine that you are passing on top of a swimming pool, and then come back down. Inhale. On the exhalation, you're going to come into 90-degree angle with the legs and shoot the body back up again. And let's go again with the pulsing. So really try and pull yourself forward. I know at this point it's probably quite painful in the abs, but keep pushing through and keep breathing into the exercises. Relax, and then this time we're going for the full 100 again. So straighten up the legs, and your quads are going to squeeze together. Point the feet, bring yourself up, crunch the core, and let's go up and down with those pulses. Nice. Keep going. And we're nearly there. This is the last set that we're going to do like this. And then relax. Hug the knees in tight towards you. Give your lower back a massage. Maybe rock back and forth. Then we're going to lengthen the right leg. The left leg's going to come as straight as you can get it into the air. And we're going to do big circles going clockwise. So 5 big circles going clockwise. And then we're going to stop and rotate the opposite direction for 5. And try and keep both sit bones on the mat so you're not lifting up one side of the hip when that leg comes up. Let's do a few more of those big wide circles, using your hands as stability so you're not rocking back and forth. And then drop the leg, and then let's lift up the other side. And the same thing again, so let's try and straighten the leg as much as possible. Swing it all the way around. So it's a really big circular motion. And this is quite hard to do without balancing or tipping to one side, so use your hands. And then let's go in the opposite direction. So this is going to help promote the hips as the main mobilizers and loosen up the hip flexors. So relax both feet. We're going to use the hands to help elevate the hips, so place them under the glutes. And we're going to inhale, the feet are going to come together and we're going to lift into the air, dorsiflex the feet and shoot them back down again. So inhale, exhale to lift, inhale, exhale to lower. So come back down nice and slow. Have a little break when you get to the bottom of the mat, and then let's go again. We're doing 5 of these, so you've got 2 more to go. So we're lifting, squeezing the core, and lowering. Last one. This time we're going up, and when we come back down, we're going to hover slightly higher above the mat. We're going to hold for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop the legs back down. Bend the knees. And we're going to do some work on the rotator cuff muscles and the shoulder muscles. So your arms are going to come up and touch the mat behind you. So the palms of the hands touch the floor, and then they're coming back so that they touch the mat. So at this point, the main thing is that the shoulders aren't going up towards the ears. So the shoulders are staying where they are. And this movement is really good if you have knots in your shoulder blades, if you struggle with tension in your shoulders. So then we're going to come into our bridge series. So we're pushing the hips up to get that nice diagonal from the shoulders to the knees. Then we're rolling back down. So as you exhale, squeeze, roll the tailbone up. The navel is being squeezed towards the spine, and you're really working the hamstrings and the glutes. The breathing pattern, as we've done in the last few videos, is you inhale when you get down and you exhale to squeeze and push up. So the next time that we come down, we're going to prepare, we're going to go up, and we're going to pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop back down. Relax, and let's go back up again. Pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Dropping back down. Relax the hips. And we're going back up, and this time we're going to stay up, really strong in the pelvis, and we're tapping out the feet. So the toes coming to the edge of the mat and then coming back towards the glutes. Keeping that strong position still. Your hands are still touching the mat. You're squeezing the glutes. And we're very slowly tapping the mat and then slowly bringing it back. So we're alternating between sides. And this is going to be super good for your balance, for any lower back pain. And then you're coming back down. Inhale to prepare. On the exhalation, peel the tailbone off the mat. The hips are coming off towards the ceiling. And we're going again with the toe taps towards the mat. So if you're finding this difficult, you can do 2 taps and then come back down with the glutes, with the hips hit the mat, and then come back up again. So you don't have to do the full set with the hips high if it is painful or if you're struggling. So come back down. Give yourself a little bit of a breather. Hug the knees in towards you. Stretch out the lower spine. And this time we're going to advance that movement again. So inhale, on the exhalation, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the core, and we're coming into tabletop with the legs alternating from right to left, dropping back down. I find that if you do this movement very slowly with control, you're going to have better results and you're going to be able to do it much easier the slower that it is. So you're coming up and then dropping back down nicely. And this is your last one, and then bring your hips back down to the mat. Draw your knees into the chest, bring them closer with your arms, and then relax the feet. This time we're going to go up again, back into the bridge position, make sure the hips are strong, and then we're coming up again into the 90-degree angle, switching from one leg to another. So this is really going to help strengthen all the mid-back muscles and all of those muscles that support our spine. And let's do 4 more. So if you are really feeling wobbly at this point, you can bring yourself back down and then come back up into this position. And then let's bring the bum back down to the mat. And let's go again one more time. So inhale, exhale through the mouth, roll the hips forward, and we're doing the same movement with the knees. And I want you to try and visualize that there's a straight line running from your shoulders to your knees when they come down. So you're not pushing the hips up so much so that the back curves. Instead, there's a nice line, so you should be able to look towards your knees and see them. And let's do one more and come all the way back down. Hug the knees. So bring the feet back to the mat. I want you to place your hands on your pelvic girdle, and we're going to open one hip out to the side and then switch to the other. So while you're doing this, I want you to have your hands on your pelvis and try really hard not to move those bones. So you should have your fingers on your pelvic girdle, which is those spiky bits that poke out of your hips. So we should hold on to that bone and allow the leg to drop without that bone moving. So the whole point in this is that it opens up the abductor muscles and releases the hip flexors. So keep going from one side to another, and then you're going to come back to neutral. Slowly bring yourself up and come onto your side, and we're going to do a mermaid prep. So one leg's going to come out to the side and the other one's coming in front of you. So your feet and your legs make this nice sort of box around you. Your shoulders are up and down, your chin is parallel to the mat, and we're going to go over to one side, trying to get the elbow to come closer down to the mat. So you're inhaling, and on the exhale, you're shooting yourself down. Going from one side to another, and just notice how your hips might want to come off the mat, and try when you lean over to that side to push the hip down into the floor. So this is going to give you a deeper stretch all in your lats. So let's keep going from one side to another, loosening up all of the mid body, and then we're going to come into our full mermaid. So one foot's coming over the top of the other. We're inhaling, on the exhale you lift up and then bring yourself back down. Inhale, exhale to lift, push out through that arm, make sure that your fingers are spread on the mat. Inhale and then exhale to come up. Making sure again that the neck isn't twisted down, you're not looking towards the hand, you're not looking up, you're looking directly forward as you come up nice and strong. And let's do 2 more. Inhale, exhale to come up. When you go up this time, I want you to try and hold for 2 breaths before releasing back down to the mat. So let's try that again. Inhale, exhale, and then I want you to hold and take 2 deep breaths. So at this point, the legs should be straight and the glutes should be tight. And then let's come back down and let's do the other side. So making that nice box with your legs again. So one leg's to the side, the other one's out in front of you, making sure that you've got that nice alignment. And let's go over to the right side. Stretch all the way. Imagine someone pulling you with the wrist. Back to neutral and then stretch onto the other side. So if you have weak knees and this is difficult, then feel free to bring yourself into a cross-legged position instead of this. And let's keep going. Reaching all the way over. If you can get the elbow to the mat, that's amazing. And then go over to the other side. We're just going to do a few more. Each time you do it, just imagine you're being pulled slightly further to try and enhance the stretch. Nice, then let's come to our full mermaid. So the foot is linking over the top of the other. You're inhaling and exhale to lift. So remember to push up through the arm. So making sure that you're not dropping into that shoulder when you come up. It's really going to help elevate the body. And come back down. And using the power from the hips and the core to shoot yourself up. Stretching that arm right the way over. And this movement is all about enhancing all of your core muscles. So let's go again, and this time we're going to hold for 2 breaths. So in through the nose, and then out through the mouth, and again. And then bring yourself all the way back down. And let's go one more time. Inhale, exhale, push through the arm, shoot the hips up, and then hold for 2 breaths. And don't worry about the shaking, just try your best to hold. Keep going, and then come back down, relax. And let's do our last one. So holding again for 2 breaths. And try and find that focal point and just concentrate on the breathing if you find that your body starts to shake. Then we're going to come up onto our knees. And you're coming up onto the knees. We're going to do a quick alignment check. The arms are going to come up. And we're going to go over to the right side. So stay on that knee. Elevate that left leg and try and get it as straight as possible. And we're going to pulse up and down. So the leg's going to hit the mat and you're going to shoot it up towards the ceiling, making sure that you've still got that nice T shape in the upper body. And we're doing one more, and then we're going to crunch elbow to knee. So all of the quads are being worked, the obliques, all of those ab muscles. So stretching out really nice and tall, and then pulling the body in. And then we're going to hold and pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Bring yourself down, come up tall on the knees, hands are coming out, and then we're going over to the left side. So the left arm hits the mat, look towards the hand for alignment, straighten up the neck, and we're pulsing up and down for 5. So the foot is just tapping the mat and then coming straight back up again, using the glutes to shoot the leg up. And then let's crunch. So knee to elbow. This time, as we crunch, we're going to look towards the knee. So we're going nice and long and then crunch towards the knee. And let's keep going. And now we're just going to pulse for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back to neutral. And let's do a quick alignment check. So shoulders are back and down, chin is parallel to the mat. You're squeezing the glutes, you're squeezing the core, and the arms are coming up again. And we're just going to do some small circles going forward. So we're building up the arm muscles. So in this position, if it's hard on your knees, please put a towel underneath them for more cushioning. And then we're flipping the palms up towards the ceiling and doing the same movement. So you're really working your triceps, your rhomboids, all of those back muscles. And just getting the blood flowing. And then let's flip them again and play around with going up and down. See how it feels. Maybe it feels different when you go one way to another. Then we're going to spin round. We're still tall on our knees. And we're going to do some quad stretches. So your arms are coming out and we're leaning back as far as you can. And then pushing the arms back behind you. So the purpose in this exercise is to enhance your quads, your glutes, and the further back that you go with the more control, the more you're going to build those ab muscles. So we're going all the way down, focus on that central point, and then push back. And let's go again. Arms coming out nice in front of you, and then push back. And I want you to visualize when they come forward that you are holding that ball and that you're squeezing it slightly. So you've got that tension between your arms. And let's do one more set. Going as far back as you can. And then come down into your all four position. Find your alignment. Imagine that you've got something balanced on your mid back. And then we're going to curve up into your cat. This time we're stooping low, bending the arms as we come back up. So we're arching all the way down and up again. So come back to neutral, curve the spine, look towards the navel, stoop down, the elbows bend, and then you're coming up. So this is a new movement that we've not done before. And it's an enhancement on the cat stretches that we've been doing in the last few videos. Then we're going into the thread the needle movement. So your arms coming up and then threading under the opposite arm, looking and following the hand with your gaze. So you're coming up with the head and then it reaches the mat for a quick breath and then back to the ceiling. Keeping the hips as they are, your hand's going to come out in front of you and you're just going to hold for 2 breaths. So this session is a lot quicker than the previous sessions as we're starting to flow more with the movements. And let's go to the opposite side. So you're coming up, look towards the hand, and then thread under the opposite arm as the head reaches the mat. So this is a great chest opener. Helps mobilize from the hips. Helps activate that twisting of the spine. And then we're bringing our hand out in front as we just take 2 deep breaths. And for a deeper stretch, you can come up onto your fingertips with that arm that's above your head. And then you're going to come back to your neutral all fours position as we prepare for the next exercise. So we're going to bring the right leg into the air as though we're going into a Superman. And then we're just going to tap on the floor and we're going to lift. So we're not going into the full Superman, we're just working the leg muscles. But what I want you to do is try and shoot the leg as high as you can. So we're tapping on the floor and then shooting up. This time we're going to come out to the side and then in. So you're tapping out of the mat and then in the mat. Try and keep the leg nice and long and imagine someone's pulling you towards them with the ankle. And then let's swap sides. So inhale, exhale to shoot the leg out, point the toe and lift. Kicking as high as you can, activating the glutes, squeezing your core, pushing out through the hands. Your gaze is to the midpoint of the mat. And then we're going out to the sides and back in. Tapping the foot to the edge and then tap back to the mat. And let's keep going. And do one more and then bring the legs in. This time we're going to go out with the right leg. The hands are going to stay where they are. And you're going to crunch the knee in towards the nose. Try and get it to touch. So you're really curving the spine. And the shoulders are getting a nice stretch. You're going to swap and do the same thing with the left leg. So notice how the head just comes back to neutral. It doesn't arch all the way forward. And let's keep going. You've got one more. And then you're going to drop the knee down, back into all fours, and then we're going to do our plank. So out with the left leg, out with the right leg. This time, the right leg's coming up, the left leg's coming up, and we're going back onto all fours. So do a little cat stretch, push the back towards the ceiling, And then we're going back into the plank. So inhale, exhale, left leg comes out, right leg comes out, left leg comes up. You go back and forward on the feet. Right leg comes up, you go back and forward. Both feet hit the ground, the knees come together. So let's try again. Left leg comes out, right leg comes out. Lift up the left leg. You're shooting the feet back and then forward. So you give yourself a nice rock and then bring the knees back down. Going back onto all fours. Open up the knees, bring the feet together and push into a child's pose. Your forehead's going to be on the mat. Let's do one deep breath. And then we're going to come up onto the fingertips. So this is going to deepen the stretch in the back, in the upper arm muscles. And then you're going to walk the hands all the way over to the right side. Both hands are coming off the mat. And again, push into the stretch. A nice big inhale through the nose. And on the exhalation, let's go over to the opposite side. So at this point, try and shoot your hips down slightly further. So you're pulling the spine back. And then we're coming back to the middle. And I want you to inch slightly further towards the front of your mat. We're going to inhale and exhale. And last one, inhalation and exhalation. This time, come up. And we're going to come flat onto our stomach. Your hands are going to be on the mat, parallel with the ears. And we're just pushing up onto the elbows. So you got that slight arch in your mid-back. Head's going to touch the mat. And then we're going to come up again. So you should hopefully feel it in your lats. So then we're going down. The forehead hits the mat. This time we're going up and we're going to straighten the arms. So the arms straighten, you're curving the spine, the head comes up. So you've got that more of the arch in the mid-back. And then you're going back down to the mat. And let's go again. So inhale. Exhale to come up, straighten up the arms, head's coming up. You've got a nice curve in the spine. Squeeze. And we're just going to play with stretching the neck muscles. So I want you to look down. And then you're coming back to neutral. And again, look down and back to neutral. So relieving any tension and then come all the way down to the mat. So inhale. On the exhalation, you're going to peel the body up again. And just focus on where feels tight. Again, going up and down with the head. Maybe this is slightly uncomfortable. If it is, don't peel so far up. And we're going to then stretch out the front and the chest. So interlock the fingers behind you. Pull yourself up. So imagine someone is grabbing onto your arms and pulling them towards your legs. And then come back down, release the shoulders. Inhale. And on the exhale, pull the shoulders back. Open up the chest. Keep the neck nice and lengthened. And then back down. And we're going to do this 2 more times. So try and really squeeze the arms together when you come up and squeeze all of those back muscles. And then last one, you're going to come all the way around and onto your sides. And we're just going to relax all the muscles. So I want you to start off with your legs in a butterfly position with your soles of your feet together. Your hands are going to come onto your hips. And we're going to do some lateral breathing. So we're going in through the nose. And I want you to imagine the lungs really expanding and the oxygen flooding throughout your body. And then on the expiration, I want you to really empty the lungs and push the air out as slow as possible. So really make it last as long as you can. And then we're going to do the same thing again. So I really want you to expand the sides of the body. So imagine that you're pushing out, inhaling and pushing out the lungs to the sides, and exhaling through the mouth, really getting rid of any air that's left in your lungs. And then we're going to release the arms, and I want you to just try and forget about the breathing pattern. Forget that there's 2 dogs harassing me, and I want you to try and relax all of the muscles. Focus on relaxing the face muscles, focus on relaxing the legs and the hips. Focus on letting the knees drop down and become super heavy. And I want you to try and focus on any tingling sensations that you've got, anywhere that feels like it's buzzing slightly or where you've got a lot of energy running through that area. And just try and get the flow of energy going in a nice wave throughout the body. And close your eyes at this point and just recognize that you are doing amazingly well on this journey and that you need to be patient with yourself. So whatever you've done today is absolutely fine and you're on the right path. And each week we are building up the fitness slowly. So there's no time pressure. The fact that you've started is amazing. And let's do one more deep breath, and then we're going to stretch out the legs. The left leg's going flat on the floor, and you're going to pull the right leg in towards you and give yourself a hamstring stretch. Play around with flexing and dorsiflexing the foot, pointing the toe towards you, and then shooting it back to the ceiling to see how it feels. And what I want you to do is put one hand directly behind the knee and the other hand towards the ankle. And I want you to practice bending the knee in towards you and then straightening the leg, using the hands to help with this movement. So we're just seeing where we can stretch to with the hamstring and how tight that muscle is. And then we're going to swing over to one side. So twisting the hips, releasing any tension, and then you're going to come back down and we're going to swap over to the left side. So same thing again, walking up the hands towards the foot to have that initial stretch in the hamstring, keeping your hips imprinted onto the mat, and then your hand comes behind the knee and towards the ankle and just play around with the same movements of bending that knee, seeing which side feels more tight. I know for me, I've got tightness in my left side, so I have to work on that side a little bit more. Then we're stretching the leg over to the right side, giving yourself a nice twist, and then we're bringing the knees in towards you, and we're going to roll up, warming up the spine. So the knees are coming back, you're rocking back, and then you're shooting the body forward so that you sat upright. And we're going back, you're rolling, and then come back upright. And let's keep going with this movement. And last one, you're going to roll up onto your feet. Your hips are going into the air. And we're going to stretch all the way down and then peel yourself up. And we're going to finish this session in a standing position. So let's come back to our alignment check. Feet are hip distance apart, knees are nice and soft. You're strong in the glutes, and let's rock back and forth on the heels, warming up the foot joints. And then we're doing our lateral side bends. The hands are coming into the armpits. Just feeling the body waking up again, preparing for whatever lies ahead of us today. And let's reach all the way over with the arms into that nice dynamic movement. And then we're coming up nice and strong. The hands are coming together, they're clapping, and then they're coming back. So we're strengthening the rhomboids. So they're coming together, they touch, and then they shoot back to the sides, squeezing the trapezius muscles. Keeping that bend in the knees. And this is our last one. And then we release the arms and we're going to do a neck stretch. So we're going from one side, roll the head down to the other, inhale, exhale to roll down to the other side. The shoulders aren't moving, it's only the base of the skull. So dropping all the way around and then coming back to neutral. Inhale, and let's finish off by doing a roll down. So we're going all the way down, hands are interlocking, shake the head for yes, and then come back up again. Inhale, exhale, chin to chest, drop the shoulders down, hinge from the hips, interlock the arms, shake the head for no, nod for yes, and then we're going to come onto our heels. The bum's coming down towards the mat, shooting back up to the ceiling, and then back all the way up. Let's go again. Inhale, exhale to come down, hands come towards the mat, interlock, head shakes back and forth, knees bend, the bum comes down towards the heels, head comes up slightly, and then we're going back up with the bum, waking up the full body. So well done for today's session, everyone, and I hope you have a great week. I know this was a little bit faster than the previous videos, but we're just building up our fitness. So congratulations, and I'll see you next week.